Listen up, Dr. Pepper fans. This week we're at the home of the original Dr. Pepper bottling company, Dublin, Texas.
Texas is full of lost history, from lost cemeteries to abandoned buildings, from the infamous to the obscure. Hitch a ride and travel across the Lone Star State, looking for hints of Texas' colorful past, our lost history. This is Expedition Texas, and we're gonna find it.
The great state of Texas is known for many things, but the world owes a debt of gratitude to the Lone Star State for giving birth to a delicious soda known as Dr. Pepper. While Dr. Pepper was invented in Waco, it was served there by the glass, until it became popular enough to bottle and distribute. Enter Dublin Bottling Works, just down the road in Dublin, Texas, the original Dr. Pepper bottling plant.
Well, this building right here that you're standing in, this was originally a hotel that partially burnt down. From dates all the way back to the 1850s, just like the town. Dublin was founded in 1854, so a lot of buildings like this, with a ton of age, wore down in many places, but this one partially burnt down, and our original owner, Sam Houston Prim, bought the property and turned it into a bottling facility in 1891. Sam Prim, he was from Sulphur Springs, Texas, out in East Texas, came through Waco, found out about this great drink, and he had an idea to put it into a bottle because he wanted people to have it at home. He had a vision of kids drinking a soda at home, drinking a Dr. Pepper at home. And so he brought it here to Dublin, Texas with a little bit of bottling equipment and a whole lot of faith, and started bottling it right here. And then he started going door to door and just letting people try it, giving it away, doing whatever he could to get it in people's hands, and eventually it caught on. And the brand Dr. Pepper, we started bottling it here in 1891 and bottled it here every day pretty much until January 11th, 2012.
That day in 2012, the day that Dr. Pepper left Dublin, is long regarded as a dark day for Dr. Pepper fans.
In 2009, Dr. Pepper merged with Snapple, forming the Dr. Pepper Snapple Group, and in 2011 that Dr. Pepper Snapple Group filed a lawsuit against us here in Dublin, claiming that we were diluting the brand by putting the Dublin name on the Dr. Pepper logo, and that was a logo that Billy Closter worked to create in the late 90s, and it was right, wrong, or indifferent. It was one of those situations that it kind of seemed like we were fighting against ourselves. Because we were Dr. Pepper, they were Dr. Pepper, and for some reason we couldn't come to an agreement in that situation. And we fought the lawsuit for about 6 months, but eventually had to settle. And as a result of the settlement, as of January 11, 2012, we were no longer allowed to bottle, ship, or distribute Dr. Pepper.
Normally, something like that would be a fatal blow to a company, but Dublin Bottling Works wasn't going to stay down long. They came back with new flavors, a new line of drinks that are now distributed all over the country, and somehow managed to survive. I'm standing in the first Dr. Pepper bottling plant.
Yeah, this is it. This is where it all started.
And what's crazy to me is this building, even though it's old and Dr. Pepper is an old product, it wasn't always a bottling plant.
No, man, this actually was originally a hotel that partially burnt down. And you can kind of see some of the architecture here up on the ceiling, that old style kind of Art Deco look. This is like an old asbestos style ceiling that they would have put up. And if you notice the discoloration, right over there, that'd be from the smoke and fire damage from
This is that original tin ceiling from...
Yes, yeah, this is the original ceiling from, and you'll notice when we go in the shop, we have a ceiling that looks like that, but this is the original. And you notice it's a little worse for the wear, but this was the original ceiling. And when Sam Houston Prim bought the property in 1891, he bought it kind of as is.
No, you don't have to have a pretty ceiling to make Dr. Pepper, right?
No, that's very true. You don't need a pretty ceiling. That's something I never really thought about. Yeah,
definitely not a pretty ceiling.
Yeah, it's not beautiful. After that quick shot of syrup, they're going to take that turn and get a slow stream of carbonated water back here at the back.
We're in Dublin, Texas, about to start a tour of the very first Dr. Pepper bottling plant, now known as Dublin Bottling Works. Our guide is head soda jerk Kenny Horton. Kenny's about to show us around, but first, I need to get the proper headwear.
I got something here for you that I think is going to look a little bit better on you.
Oh, look at that. I've got
Dublin original hat here.
I'm going to have to change out here, folks. I've got my Dublin hat now, so I'm changing out here. All right, now I'm official. I feel like I'm part of the team. So,
there you go.
You know, I understand that you have some very old bottling equipment still here that actually still functions. Can I see this?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Let's go take a look. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, now this machine you see right in here, this is our bottle washer. It's our newest piece of equipment officially. It dates back to 1965, so not exactly a brand new process. But this machine holds 82.5 cases of bottles at one time.
My gosh.
That's 1,980 bottles. So this is a really, really big dishwasher. Yeah.
That is a huge dishwasher.
Yeah,
and so this right here is sort of the cycle.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's going to go in here on the back end, and then it'll get turned upside down and go through a series of pre-rinses.
Okay.
And those allow any junk that's left in that old bottle to fall out, because this machinery was originally designed for the old returnable bottles.
Okay.
And returnables stopped being made in 1993. So the only way that people could get filled returnables is to bring in their empties in exchange for filled bottles. But a lot of those bottles are refilled 50, 75 times a piece, and some of them are over 50 years old. So we have to make sure and get them very, very clean. So that rinses them out. Then they go through a deep soak that's going to kill any germs in or on the bottles, and then they go through a series of post rinses. It takes about 45 minutes for them to go through the whole process.
Really?
Yeah.
My goodness.
All right, right over here, this is where the bottles come out of the bottle washer. So there'll be somebody standing here using this high-tech piece of equipment to guide the bottles out to make sure they don't fall over and break. We use a lot of scientific equipment right here.
Y'all pulled this out from under someone's sink, didn't you?
Pretty much, yeah. We ripped out a P-trap and made that. But what's going to happen here is they use this lever, they pull it back to stop it, and then when they push this forward, it's going to turn a wheel right there, drop the bottles down, and there'll be a fluorescent light shining down onto the bottles, and that'll allow us to catch any cracks or chips in the bottles. Also allow us to make sure the bottles are clean. There's no debris left in the bottles, no crickets, lizards, bees,
because you don't want crickets, lizards, or bees in your Dublin soda.
It is protein, but we like to shy away from that for liability reasons. Yeah.
So is this some kind of conveyor?
Yeah, this is a conveyor belt. This belt's going to be moving this direction and pulling the bottles towards the filling process.
I'm having flashbacks to the opening sequence of Laverne and Shirley now for some reason.
Yeah, it's kind of like Laverne and Shirley if they were like 85 years old when the show came out.
Yeah, okay.
Because this is much slower than what they were working with even then.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
and they weren't bottling Dr. Pepper, they were bottling something a little more potent.
Yes, it had a little bit more action to it. But this machine here dates back to 1937. It's called the Sim 320. So even older, a lot older than what they were working with. This machine is basically a 3-head filler unit. Does about 25 bottles per minute. And if you'd like, I can show you what 25 bottles per minute looks like.
I would love to see
that. Check it out? Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, so what's happening here, the bottles come around this first wheel. They'll get a quick shot of syrup at either one of those 3 heads there. After that quick shot of syrup, they're going to take that turn and get a slow stream of carbonated water back here at the back. So they'll go up in that little bell, and that carbonated water has to go in there really slow so it doesn't fizz up and lose its carbonation. Then they're going to come around and get capped right here at over 100 pounds of pressure. This hopper will cap the bottles, and if there's any sort of crack or chip in the bottle, it's going to cause the bottle to explode.
Oh no.
Sounds like a gun going off in here, yeah.
Look at that. Getting capped bottles right here.
That's how long it takes for 10 bottles to go through the whole line right here. So not exactly a high-speed operation, but for its day, the 1930s, this was top-of-the-line equipment for sure.
Well, yeah. That looks like, is that what I think it is? It is. It's a marker.
Yep, that is a permanent marker and a piece of PVC pipe on a spring.
We're in Dublin, Texas, exploring the old Dublin Bottling Works, the original Dr. Pepper bottling plant. Our guide is Kenny Horton, and he's showing us how some of the first automated bottling equipment works.
All right, so what's going to happen next is they're going to come down this belt, and then they're going to hit this scientific piece of equipment right here. Very high tech.
That looks like, is that what I think it is? It is. It's a marker.
Yep, that is a permanent marker and a piece of PVC pipe on a spring. Pretty much stuff that Mr. Kloster probably found in his garage. Back in the 1970s, that was really with health code regulations. You had to come up with a way to date your product so that you knew when it needed to go out, when the shelf life was up. And so what they would do is about once a month change this color. They turn this scientific thing right here and pull it out just like that. And they would change colors, and when they put their new color in, they would just slide it in just like this, tighten that down, pull that cap off, and then the bottle just passes by, gets a little bit of ink on the cap.
It gets marked.
That's exactly what we need, yep. And what we do is 2 years from now, we have a 2-year shelf life on the bottle, so 2 years from now, if any of them have the orange ink on the cap, we know we have to get rid of the bottle first.
So this actually serves an actual purpose here to mark the bottle. When did he come up with this little design?
It was about the 1970s, because back before then, the only way you knew a product was out of date is if you tasted it and it didn't taste good. So as long as it tasted good, it was a good product, but with OSHA regulations, we had to have a way of dating the product. So it worked out pretty well for us.
So it travels down the conveyor belt, and what happens next?
All right, it's going to come all the way down this belt to this next machine right down here, and this is called the Potter and Rayfield 160 mixer.
Potter and Rayfield 160 mixer. How old of a machine is this?
This machine dates back to the mid-1920s. It's our oldest piece of equipment on the line.
Wow.
What it's basically going to do, it's going to take these bottles, they'll be forced into these little dividers here. This has 24 different dividers. Each divider holds 3 bottles. So it holds 72 bottles at one time. What will happen, the bottles are forced in here, they're going to do 3 rotations. 3, that's the magic number for some reason, 3 times. That causes the syrup and carbonated water to mix, and it'll never separate.
So instead of a guy flipping the bottle 3 times, the short straw guy, this actually does it for you now.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's rotating them through like this.
And basically what will happen, one bottle will go in, it'll turn over on this side, and then a second bottle's forced in beside it. It'll do a second rotation in the middle, and then a third bottle's forced in, it'll do a third rotation, and then when that 4th bottle's forced in, it's going to push it out the other side, and it'll go down to the candlelight inspection station.
That's some pretty awesome automation for the 20s.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This was high-tech equipment for that day.
Yeah, and then it comes out, and we're seeing some new product here. Tell us about your Texas root beer.
Our Texas root beer, our Dublin Texas root beer was created right here in Dublin, and it's a real smooth, creamy root beer, kind of reminiscent of an old style, just with a lot of head on it. Really good quality root beer, something you'd get off an old style soda fountain. And
always made with pure cane sugar.
That's right.
It comes from Dublin here, and it's 2017 because it has the orange mark on the top. Yeah, cool. And then if we just keep on going out here, then we go through a hole in the wall. And I see lots of bottles out here, but we have to go some other way to get out there.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go around the other side. Yeah.
All right, let's go check that out.
All right, we're heading over to the candlelight inspection station. It's right over here.
Candlelight?
Yes. They actually used to use a candle at this station. They'd have a little box here with a candle. They'd hold up a bottle in front of that candle, and that would enable them to see through the product to make sure there was no debris in there. Also make sure the fill level was correct and it was the right consistency of syrup and carbonated water. Now, thank God, we have a 100-watt light bulb. So what we're going to do is the bottles will come down this belt here onto this rotating table, and we'll grab 4 bottles at a time off of the table. We'll grab the bottles, slap them on the light. We turn this light on, and you notice there's quite a bit of difference in these products right here. These are some of the different variations that we would get. Like this first one here, this is a runner root beer we did recently. So you can obviously tell this one here, not near dark enough. This basically looks like fizzy salt water, or it's just kind of like a vanilla cream or an iced tea or something like that. It's not near dark enough. So these next 3, these are a lot closer, but this third one here is too full. We need it to be about mid-neck here. And then this last one, this might be one of your favorites. This one is basically pure syrup.
Oh, wow.
So it's really good. Right. Yeah, it's just too much syrup, not enough carbonated water. Really good if you got a long trip, but this one is a little bit stout for what we're trying to do here.
So we've learned how the soda was bottled, but coming up next, we get to try it fresh from the fountain at Dublin Bottling Works. We're in Dublin, Texas, touring Dublin Bottling Works, the first bottling plant for Dr. Pepper. We've toured the bottling operation. Now we're going to look at a few museum items before heading over and trying some fresh soda straight from the fountain.
This is our Dublin Bottling Works Museum. This is the original office from the plant back in the 1890s. So this desk right here, desk and typewriter, belonged to Sam Houston Prim, our original owner. He's the man up there in the corner. Worked here for 55 years, from 1891 until 1946 when he passed away.
This was his desk?
Yeah, that's his desk where he did his everyday business, and this was the front sales office for the business. That is our original cash register right over here, and it does still work. But you see the price on it, says $7.99. That's the highest it'll go. That's why we can't use it anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, of course, in the 1890s, you might pay 2 cents a bottle or 15 cents for a case, you know.
He would never get to $7.99.
Yeah, $8 would get you a lot of Dr. Pepper back then. But
yeah.
So in 1891, let's say you buy a case of drinks, pay maybe 15 cents. So you go here, you got your 10-cent place, your nickel, it pops it open, 15 cents. And so you go to the top on each one of these. This is the dollar sign. That's, I got to close it back. There we go. You go up here, go to the dollar sign, put $7.99. That's the highest it'll go. A high-tech piece of equipment, but man, it's amazing the craftsmanship, how they made things back then. They made them to last, that's for sure.
It's like a vault in itself. I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, you're not getting into that thing.
For sure, and that's what these things were designed for. They were designed to withstand blast, withstand whatever they could.
There were literally hundreds of items in the Dr. Pepper room, but Dublin Bottling Works is known for its soda fountain as well, and I was ready to see that. You know what all this is doing, though? I gotta tell you, this is all making me a little thirsty. And I know that when I came in here, I saw that old-fashioned soda fountain out front. Can we go take a little time to visit the soda fountain?
Absolutely, man. That's the best part of this job.
All right, let's do that. And with that, it was time to step back in time with Kenny as he showed his skills as a soda jerk.
This is an old fountain from the 1930s. It was actually at a drugstore here in Dublin. And so I'm going to make a fountain drink of our Dublin Original, which is this flavor right here. It's our #1, our top seller, the best product we have here. Dark soda with just a little bit of a cherry kick. So what we'll do first is we're going to go over and get a little bit of ice. Put the ice in first because we want the syrup to go in chilled into the bottle. And then I'm going to come right over here and pump a little bit of syrup into the bottle. Comes at about 2.5 pumps of syrup right there. And then we're going to add the carbonated water. And this is where the term soda jerk comes from. So what I'll do is I'll take this soda arm, pull it forward, and then jerk it back. And that's why they call it soda jerk. So slow stream fills it, the fast stream mixes it. Then I'm going to take a spoon and run that spoon back to front 3 times. Put it back in here, quick shot, and it's ready to drink. All right, man, here is your Dublin Original.
Dublin Original, and this is, we just watched you mix this thing, so this is probably going to be the freshest soda I've ever had.
Yep, that's hand mixed.
Man, that is outstanding. Kenny, what's awesome is that the story here doesn't end when Dr. Pepper went away. You guys are still producing excellent sodas.
You know, for a while there I was worried about the future, but now it's kind of an exciting time to see where these products can go and see all the new faces and places that'll try our products. So.
And the other cool thing is that folks can come here and visit you and see all the things we saw today.
Absolutely.
Dublin Bottling Works was around before there was a Dr. Pepper and has survived in spite of their key product going away. Kenny and his staff at the soda shop keep the old soda fountain tradition alive while gladly showing everyone who visits a bit of Texas history. There are places like this all over Texas, another lost legend waiting to be rediscovered. And on Expedition Texas, we're gonna find it.